RGC wavelengths were obtained in laboratories using aluminium nitride, 210 nm, 93, boron nitride, 215 nm, 94, 95, andulant, 235 nm, dot, 96, white LEDs. There are two primary ways of producing white light-emitting diodes. One is to use individual LEDs that emit three primary colors red, green and blue and then mix all the colors to form white light. The other is to use a phosphor material to convert monochromatic light from a blue or UV LED to broad spectrum white light, similar to a fluorescent lamp. The yellow phosphor is silver-doped YAG crystals suspended in package or coated on the lead. This YAG phosphor causes white LEDs to appear yellow when off, and the space between the crystals allows some blue light to pass through in LEDs with partial phosphor conversion. Alternatively, white LEDs may use other phosphors like manganese, 4-doped potassium fluorosilicate, PFS, or other engineered phosphors. PFS assists in red light generation, and is used in conjunction with conventional CEYAG phosphor. In LEDs with PFS phosphor, some blue light passes through the phosphors. The CEYAG phosphor converts blue light to green and red, yellow, light, and the PFS phosphor converts blue light to red light. The color, emission spectrum or color temperature of white phosphor converted and other phosphor converted LEDs can be controlled by changing the concentration of several phosphors that form a phosphor blend used in an LED package. 97, 98, 99, 100. The whiteness of the light produced is engineered to suit the human eye. Because of metamerism, it is possible to have quite different spectra that appear white. The appearance of objects illuminated by dark light may vary as the spectrum varies. This is the issue of color rendition, quite separate from color temperature. An orange or cyan object could appear with the wrong color and much darker as the lead or phosphor does not emit the wavelength it reflects. The best color rendition LEDs use a mix of phosphors resulting in less efficiency and better color rendering. The first white light emitting diodes, LEDs, were offered for sale in the autumn of 1996. 101 RGB systems. Combined spectral curves for blue, yellow, green, and high brightness red solid-state semiconductor LEDs. FWHM spectral bandwidth is approximately 24-27 nm for all three colors. An RGB LED projecting red, green and blue onto a surface mixing red, green, and blue sources to produce white light needs electronic circuits to control the blending of the colors. Since LEDs shave slightly different emission patterns, the color balance may change depending on the angle of view, even if the RGB sources are in a single package, so RGB diodes are seldom used to produce white lighting. Nonetheless, this method has many applications because of the flexibility of mixing different colors, 102, and in principle, this mechanism also has higher quantum efficiency in producing white light. 103. There are several types of multicolor white LEDs, Diode, true, and tetrachromatic white LEDs. Several key factors that play among these different methods include color stability, color rendering capability, and luminous efficacy. Often, higher efficiency means lower color rendering, presenting a trade-off between the luminous efficacy and color rendering. For example, the dichromatic white LEDs have the best luminous efficacy, 120 lm/W, but the lowest color rendering capability. Although tetrachromatic white LEDs shave excellent color rendering capability, they often have poor luminous efficacy. Trichromatic white LEDs are in between, having both good luminous efficacy and GT 70 lm/W and fair color rendering capability. 104. One of the challenges is the development of more efficient green LEDs. The theoretical maximum for green LEDs is 683 lumens per watt, but as of 2010 few green LEDs exceed even 100 lumens per watt. The blue and red LEDs approach their theoretical limits. Multicolor LEDs offer a means to form light of different colors. Most perceivable colors can be formed by mixing different amounts of three primary colors. This allows precise dynamic color control. Their emission power decays exponentially with rising temperature, 105, resulting in a substantial change in color stability. Such problems inhibit industrial use. Multicolor LEDs without phosphors cannot provide good color rendering because each LED is a narrowband source. LEDs without phosphor, while a poorer solution for general lighting, are the best solution for displays, either backlight of LCD, or direct LED-based pixels. Dimming a multicolor LED source to match the characteristics of incandescent lamps is difficult because manufacturing variations, age, and temperature change the actual color value output. To emulate the appearance of dimming incandescent lamps may require a feedback system with color sensor to actively monitor and control the color. 106. Phosphor-based LEDs. Spectrum of a white LED showing blue light directly emitted by the GaN-based LED, peak at about 465 nm, and the more broadband Stokes shifted light emitted by the Ce3 plus YAG phosphor, which emits at roughly 500, 700 nm. This method involves coating LEDs of one color, mostly blue LEDs made of InGaN, with phosphors of different colors to form white light. The resultant LEDs are called phosphor-based or phosphor-converted white LEDs, PLEDs. 107. A fraction of the blue light undergoes the Stokes shift, which transforms it from shorter wavelengths to longer. Depending on the original LED's color, various color phosphors are used. Using several phosphor layers of distinct colors broadens the emitted spectrum, effectively raising the color rendering index, CI. 108. Phosphor-based LEDs have efficiency losses due to heat loss from the Stokes shift and also the phosphorylated issues. Their luminous efficacies compared to normal LEDs depend on the spectral distribution of the resultant light output and the original wavelength of the LED itself. For example, the luminous efficacy of a typical YAG phosphor-based white LED ranges from 3 to 5 times the luminous efficacy of the original blue LED because of the human eye's greater sensitivity to yellow than to blue, as modeled in the luminosity function. Due to the simplicity of manufacturing, the phosphor method is still the most popular method for making high-intensity white LEDs. The design and production of a light source or light fixture using a monochrome emitter with phosphor conversion is simpler and cheaper than a complex RGB system, and the majority of high-intensity white LEDs presently on the market are manufactured using phosphor light conversion. Among the challenges being faced to improve the efficiency of LED-based white light sources is the development of more efficient phosphors. As of 2010, the most efficient yellow phosphor is still the YAG phosphor, with less than 10% Stokes shift loss. Losses attributable to internal optical losses due to reabsorption in the LED chip and in the LED packaging itself account typically for another 10% to 30% of efficiency loss. Currently, in the area of phosphor LED development, much effort is being spent on optimizing these devices to higher light output and higher operation temperatures. For instance, the efficiency can be raised by adapting better package design or by using a more suitable type of phosphor. Conformal coating process is frequently used to address the issue of varying phosphor thickness. Some phosphor-based white LEDs encapsulate InGaN blue LEDs inside phosphor-coated epoxy. Alternatively, the LED might be paired with a remote phosphor, a preformed polycarbonate piece coated with the phosphor material. Remote phosphors provide more diffuse light, which is desirable for many applications, Remote phosphor designs are also more tolerant of variations in the lead emissions spectrum. A common yellow phosphor material is silver-doped yet tri-arm aluminium garnet, Ce3 plus YAG. White LEDs can also be made by coating near ultraviolet, NUV, LEDs with a mixture of high-efficiency europium-based phosphors that emit red and blue, plus copper and aluminium-doped zinc sulfide, ZnSCuL, that emits green. This is a method analogous to the way fluorescent lamps work. This method is less efficient than blue LEDs with YAGCE phosphor, as the Stokes shift is larger, so more energy is converted to heat, but yields light with better spectral characteristics, which render color better. Due to the high radiative output of the ultraviolet LEDs than of the blue ones, both methods offer comparable brightness. A concern is that UV light may leak from a malfunctioning light source and cause harm to human eyes or skin. A new style of wafers composed of gallium nitride on silicon, GaN-on-Si, is being used to produce white LEDs using 200 mm silicon wafers. This avoids the typical costly sapphire substrate in relatively small 100 or 150 mm wafer sizes. 109. The sapphire apparatus must be coupled with a mirror-like collector to reflect light that would otherwise be wasted. It was predicted that since 2020, 40% of all GaN LEDs are made with GaN-on-Si. Manufacturing large sapphire material is difficult, while large silicon material is cheaper and more abundant. LED companies shifting from using sapphire to silicon should be a minimal investment. 110. Mixed white LEDs. Tunable white LED array in a floodlight. There are RGBW LEDs that combine RGB units with a phosphor white LED on the market. Doing so retains the extremely tunable color of RGB LED, but allows color rendering and efficiency to be optimized when a color close to white is selected. 111. Some phosphor white LED units are tunable white, blending 12 extremes of color temperatures, commonly 2700 K and 6500 K, to produce intermediate values. This feature allows users to change LED lighting to suit the current use of a multifunction room. 112. As illustrated by a straight line on the chromaticity diagram, simpler to white blends will have a pink bias, becoming most severe in the middle. A small amount of green light, provided by another LED, could correct the problem. 113. Some products are RGBWW, i.e. RGBW with tunable white. 114. A final class of white LED with mixed light is dim to warm. These are ordinary 2700 K white LED bulbs with a small red LED that turns on when the bulb is dimmed. Doing so makes the color warmer, emulating an incandescent light bulb. 114. Other white LEDs. Another method used to produce experimental white light LEDs used no phosphors at all and was based on home.
Yes, I like to watch the early evening news in 3 minutes, so I'll stop the video and charging.